Was Ambassador John Bolton. He is former U.S. ambassador to the UN and a Fox News contributor. Good to see you, Ambassador. The first foreign trip of President Obama, I think, had a very different tone. Just to remind viewers of what it was like, here's a clip from President Obama's first foreign tour. Take a listen.
The United States will be willing to acknowledge past errors where those errors have been made. We've at times been disengaged, and at times we've sought to dictate our terms.
Now, it ain't for nothing that tour was called the Apology Tour. He was essentially apologizing for what America stood for, what its values were, etc. We're not going to hear that in this trip, are we?
No, and it was vintage Obama. That was all before I was born. Now I'm here, and everything's different. But I think there's another direct comparison here with the speech the president's going to give, I think, on Sunday to the Arab leaders assembled in Saudi Arabia. The comparison with the Obama speech in Cairo at the university there, where he talked about where they brought in people from the Muslim Brotherhood, and he declined to get into the terrorist issue and its ideological roots. So I think this is a real opportunity for Trump. This whole trip is a big opportunity, but certainly here in Saudi Arabia to explain that what he's against is terrorism, not Islam, something I think his audience will be receptive to because they're devout Muslims, and guess what? They've seen the dangers of terrorism. Their people have felt the sting of ISIS and Al-Qaeda.
Right.
They're with us on this.
Well, and they're also scared to death of Iran. And of course, the previous administration made this deal with Iran that the Saudis were not fans of. But, of course, the Israelis play into this, too. You mentioned the Muslim Brotherhood. Clearly, President Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton had a different view of the Muslim Brotherhood, which is a terrorist organization, as they did with Iran. Some people say because of what happened, the flap with the president releasing some intel from Israel over the past couple of weeks, that because of that, Israel is soured on the president. But I can't imagine them preferring a president that was cozying up to the Muslim Brotherhood or Iran.
Well, this is part of, I think, the partisan nature of these leaks around the president. The Israelis are delighted that Barack Obama is out the door. And probably the only people in the region more delighted than the Israelis are the Saudis and some of the other Sunni monarchs in the oil-producing countries, because the threat of Iran to them is existential. It's not just the nuclear program. It is the terrorist threat. To Israel, the existential threat is more on the nuclear side. But this is a real opportunity, looking at what happens, hopefully, after the defeat of ISIS in the near future, to deal with the next potential conflict, Iran and its aspirations in the region. So Trump has a real opportunity in this first foreign visit to put some markers down here, and I think he'll see possibly an increase in cooperation between Israel and some of these Sunni Arab states. It's happening beneath the surface now. It may become more visible.
We need those allies now more than ever, no doubt. John Bolton, former ambassador to the UN, thank you very much.
Thank you, David.